Yo, Joburg everybody, it's time for another one-shot review. You know you love them. Today's subject, today's obscurity is none other than the G.I. Joe tank car, the Motorized vehicle pack from 1988. And what the heck is this thing supposed to be? A ride-on lawnmower? Power wheels maybe? A kiddie cart? One of those things that you have outside shopping malls where you put a coin in and it goes... Minutes of fun for the children. I don't know, guys. It's got a big honking gun on it and they called it the tank car. Laughable maybe, but there is going to be a serious reason for this thing back-ending this review. Firstly, I'd just like to say that I gleaned a piece of information from FormBX257's excellent overview of these 5 vehicle packs from 1988, in which he says that they are actually made by Tomy in Japan. And all the hallmarks of a Tomy toy are there. It's got a nice hard plastic design, lots of mechanical detailing, very nice glossy finish, but of course has a pull back and go feature. Just like a lot of the Tomy toys of the time, be it Zoids or Storias. And I fancy this thing. In fact, I collect all of them, to be honest. As a child, this was the kiss of death. You didn't want to buy this. For the same price, practically, you could buy an action figure. This vehicle was nothing without an action figure. But now, as an adult, I have all the action figures and I need something to do. So buying up these little oddities seems like a logical thing to do. The transformation to backpack mode is a cinch. Disconnect, swivel, press it down. There's a nice lock point there. And hey presto, you got a backpack for a poor, unsuspecting Joe like Hit and Run to lug around and cave under. But it's a nice idea, I guess. I mean, you wouldn't be able to get very far. And why would you want to carry it as a backpack? It's a perfect mobility solution. It's low slung, it's stealthy, it looks ridiculous with a rider on top. But let's give it a bash anyways. So why the tank car? Why does this thing even exist? I mean, it's not a tank, it's certainly not a car. It's not there to provide transport or protection. But it does have a rather sizable weapon for its size. And I got myself thinking, like, what could the function of this be on the battlefield? Well, basically, it's effectively like one of these, except with the added mobility. I mean, if ever you've handled anything in the same class as a heavy machine gun, like the 50 cal, I mean, it's not something one person's likely to wield. Sorry, Roadblock, but in the real world, like, it's just not done. It's a fixed weapon that you would get 2 guys to operate. So getting it from point A to point B is always going to be quite a labor. Well, the tank car can do it for you. I mean, provided you're not going off-road. These ridiculous scooter tires couldn't handle anything bumpy, which is precisely why we're doing this on the wooden floor as opposed to out in the wilds, G.I. Joburg style. But as far as getting a heavy gun into a position, you could do far worse. And it holds the weight of the figure nicely, distributed evenly, and it even can do its feature. Whoa! I mean, that was just a slight pull back and go. Imagine if I gave it the full tonk. Well, you'd probably have a bit of a wheel spin out, because unfortunately, the first thing to go on these bad boys is the little strips of rubber that are inlaid on the wheels. Which give it some traction. So it would definitely skid out if you give it too much wind. Oh, I'm scared of that cannon tip breaking again. It was already broken when it came to me, unfortunately. Anyways, the tank car, as I say, wonderful little oddity and certainly has a function. One that I'm very fond of. I mean, just imagine getting this guy into position and then using it as a bit of cover. Setting up a nice little machine gun nest. I mean, you could even pack sandbags around the front to offer some more protection, or get it beneath kind of a rocky outcropping. And all of a sudden, you've got a very nicely concealed heavy machine gun. So yeah, it's never going to be a tank car, but you get the picture. It certainly has its place in G.I. Joe, and I certainly have a fondness for it and its brethren. I mean, G.I. Joe, it's got to be the ultimate collectible line of toys. even something like this becomes compelling to buy because you want to A, complete the whole set, and B, it just gives another dimension to a figure like Hit and Run, for instance. I mean, he's not just an infantryman. He can be manning the big gun, and not just ziplining down his awesome duffel bag. A rope accessory. Anyways, I've gabbed on almost more than enough. I would not suggest using this as a handlebar. It's liable to break thumbs. Oh, so he says, and then he gives it a bash. No, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna go through with it. Sorry, man. I love Hit and Run too much to risk his thumbs on this oddity. Anyways, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this review. I've certainly enjoyed talking about this strange little car. It was supposed to have stickers. The stickers have obviously not been applied to this specimen, but they had the number 6 and a very neat G.I. Joe symbol right up front, I think. And I guess that's all I have to say about that. Hit and run. Time to hit and run. Oh, the other interesting point to note is that the handles are easily gripped, but once he's seated, I wouldn't want to push them all the way down just because of the odd angle at which he would have to grasp them. It's a good angle if you are lying directly behind the spade grips, but if seated in this raised position, the best you can do is to rest his hands on those points. And the foot rests are quite handy. Hit and Run's not going to go anywhere. He's nice and cradled there. So let's, whoa, light solution. Let's give this guy a little bit of space to roll and send him on his way. Yo, Joe Berg, everybody.